Hello, and welcome to a quick update video I just wanted to make on the Bayesian Superyacht, which sank a year ago just off the coast of Sicily. I did cover the incident at the time, and so won't go too much into detail into what happened, as that information is already available via the Bayesian playlist on my channel. But I did promise to make an update video when sufficient new information became available, and as of late, there have been a few developments, and those are what I'm going to briefly cover here. So in May, the website Boat International, which has an extensive yet easily digestible timeline of all key events in this unfolding story, and there will be a link to that page in the description, reported that 3 of Bayesian's crew were officially under investigation for crimes including negligence, recklessness, and malpractice in their failing of saving the yacht from freak weather. Described as a key update in the manslaughter probe underway, it states that Captain James Cutfield is under scrutiny for not promptly taking all measures to deal with the emergency situation that had arisen, with a potential charge specified in failing to warn the guests, which resulted in Mike Lynch, Hannah Lynch, Judith and Jonathan Bloomer, Christopher and Nida Mavillo, and Ricaldo Thomas being trapped in the lower rooms and brought to the bottom with the boat as it sank. Chief Engineer Timothy Parker Eaton, who was the only crew on the aft area of the vessel, is being investigated for negligence by failing to realise that Bayesian had already begun to take on water and warning the captain accordingly. Deckhand Matthew Griffiths, who was assigned to the night watch, is being investigated for failure to notice the worsening weather conditions. The result of this investigation is heavily reliant on the yacht's salvage, the article states, as the hull will provide crucial material related to the sinking's cause. It was then announced that the lifting of the Bayesian hull was soon to commence, with significant progress already made, with the salvage crew using a remote-controlled submersible supported by specialist divers to carry out a detailed analysis of the Bayesian and the surrounding seabed. This confirmed that there had been no material change to the yacht's condition or surrounding marine environment, meaning that the recovery could go ahead. Unfortunately, during that preliminary salvage operation, one of the specialist divers, a 39-year-old, died. A Coast Guard spokesperson confirmed the incident, but said no further details were immediately available. The salvage operation was subsequently delayed for a short time. Meanwhile, the Marine Accident Investigation Branch released an interim report revealing that Bayesian may have been vulnerable to extreme weather, including high winds of up to 87 knots. An analysis of meteorological conditions concluded that conditions were conducive to supercells and isolated storms that can produce damaging winds, hail, tornadoes, or waterspouts. A study conducted by the University of Southampton indicated that if the wind was blowing directly onto the Bayesian's beam, and the yacht was in the motoring condition, a position where the centreboard was raised and no sails were up, a gusting wind speed in excess of 63.4 knots would likely result in the vessel capsizing, being irrecoverable once the yacht had heeled beyond an angle of 70.6 degrees. Bayesian had heeled over 90 degrees to starboard, taking less than 15 seconds to do so. Crucially, it is also noted that these vulnerabilities were not identified in the stability information book carried on board, meaning both owner and crew would not have been aware. On June 20th, it was announced that the Bayesian had been lifted from the seabed, with her distinctive blue hull and white superstructure now visible above the waterline, with the yacht's name beginning to re-emerge as seawater washed away 10 months of seabed sediment. The yacht's 72-metre mast was cut free earlier in the operation to allow for lifting, and was salvaged later. On June 21st, it was reported that the superyacht had been fully raised from the water ahead of being transported back to shore. Nearly a year on from her tragic sinking, the final stage of the Bayesian salvage operation had been completed. It is noted that the salvage teams also removed potential debris that may have migrated from the sailing yacht over the past 10 months. This included deck furniture and other loose items that were identified during surveys of the seabed. With Bayesian now on dry land, the next stage of the investigation can proceed. I also came across this article on the Independent website, in which it stated that Mikelynch's widow revealed the final moments of the disaster. Angela Baccares was one of the 15 people who were rescued, and in a statement that was released leading up to the first anniversary of the tragedy, she said she woke at around 4 AM after feeling the vessel moving up and down and swaying. She then went to an upper deck to find the captain, 52-year-old James Cutfield, and although the interim report that was released sought to blame Mr. Cutfield and the crew, Miss Baccares said that she had always felt reassured by them during bad weather. She described objects on board began sliding around the vessel, but not realising they were in a serious situation. She did not alert others until something catastrophic happened and the vessel rolled suddenly. Miss Baccares was ultimately pulled to safety by a crew member. Again, it is reiterated that the sails were not raised and the vessel was running on its engine before the sinking, which indicated a vulnerability that the owner and the crew would not have known about. As of yet, no date has been set for when the final report will be published.